So you say, I am fearless. I know no fear. So I decide to jump. Three step back, run, and jump. Oh, do you envy an imaginary person? I don't. That's being fearless, and that's not being brave. So, in the coming half an hour, I'm going to talk with you about how to bravely, in your decision crossroads in your life journey, to try to balance your courage and your fear, to try to balance your choices and challenges. Whenever we are at a decision road, which we all will be, we have to find a way to exit our comfort zone, to go into the growth. But it can be really scary. And the point is not to be fearless, the point is to be brave. Hi everyone, I'm Solmaz, and in the coming 30 minutes, as I told, I will mainly, a little bit told by Liesel, I will mainly share with the toolkits that I'm using myself in my personal development, how I do create a personal journal, how I use all these cross points in my life journey, all these decision cross points, to get to know myself better, to celebrate those cross points instead of being scared of them, because we know they will come. That's the definition of life, making decisions, some smaller, some bigger, but we have to make those decisions. So how to embrace them, how I try to use some toolkit around for that journey, to simplify that journey, to make it a joyful journey, but also I will try to make it personal. I will try to share as much as possible my own experience of how I am using those journeys. Okay, let's start with who is Solmas. If I have to say two top things about myself to explain, to introduce myself to you, I will go for my hobby and for my mission. Because why the hobby? Because hobby is a good chance for you to, first of all, what's the definition of hobby? Hobby is something that you want to do and you don't have to do. So that's already a quite interesting thing in these days, that we all have to do so many things at the same time. Always, I have to do this. Even the nicest things are becoming I have to. So the hobby is a true things. I want to spend time there. I want to do it. And when you want to do something, at that moment, you have the chance to look at your life outside the bubble. You have the chance to really ease your mind, to don't think about what comes next, to just enjoy and be in the moment. For me, that hobby is photography. So, by the way, the picture you are seeing is a picture which I have made myself, guess where? In Norway. And that is the foggy day I was talking about. I wasn't going to jump from that mountain. We didn't climb it, we just walked around it. But when I am in nature, when I am making pictures, I can be hours of just walking around and enjoying every tiny little things. Why I like photography, for everybody else can be something else, can be dancing, can be playing music. But for me is when I am walking around and I pay attention to the world from a different perspective. So what is nice to make a picture that focused my mind, that focuses my mind. And while walking and being in nature gives me the chance to, yeah, as I told, look at my life from outside the bubble, to zoom out as much as possible and not be in this going with the flow. It's sometimes not anymore a flow, it's more a storm. So that's the point that I try to slow down. The next one is my mission. You can practice your mission from every role, but finding it is not easy. And believe me, I didn't know it for a long time. It took a long journey to find out what it is. And it is a long journey to know, is it the true one? Do I need to adjust it? Do I need to change it? How can I practice it? What is it just saying it versus saying it and doing it? And I will tell something in my story later on, how I used my journey till now and all the decisions which I made to come to the point that I say my mission in life is enabling greatness in others. It came from different aspects, but we will go there later. So these are the two things which can explain me. And before I go into more details, I want to ask you that I also have a mentee. And if you just go to menti.com, you enter the code written on the right side of the presentation, then you will see one question. And the question is, in one word, please try to just use one word. What stands between you and your biggest dream? Not all of your dreams, but what stands between you and your biggest dream. So if one of our lovely core team wants to copy paste that into the chat so that we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Choosing opportunities. Here you see we are on top of the mountain, by the way. Don't jump. Bear with me. Before I start to go through the questions, I want to share the red wire of my story. So I was born and raised in Tehran. That's the capital of Iran. I studied computer science there, and after graduation, I decided that I want to see more. I want to see more of the world. So I want to come to Europe and study further here. So I decided to come to Maastricht University and study knowledge engineering. That was the moment I was like, new culture, new language, new everything, new, new, new. Can I do that? Oh, if that's not a success, what will happen then? But I did it. I came here, I studied. After studying, I went to Philips and did my graduation there. I had a decision again to make. Do I continue as a PhD at Philips, or will I go to Vodafone? Again, a decision. Is it more studying or more work, corporate world? I was like, okay, how does this fit my bigger picture? What do I want to do? Do I want to be more into corporate? Do I want to more good research? Am I a teacher side person? Am I going to become a professor in a university, or do I want to go to corporate? I decided to go to corporate. You see all of those decisions, each of them making a different perspective to your knowing yourself. Then you grow, you go to the Netherlands, you're done there, and you are doing a lot of projects, you are programming. So I started as an information architect at Vodafone Germany. First of all, developing a lot of things myself, always have been in the business intelligence and now known as data and analytics. So I started within BI, doing a lot of coding, creating back then business object universes or the reports. Tableau came out. We were all happy. We moved to Tableau. I did a lot of project management. Then got the chance to do some demand intake, get to know the customers and gave them trainings. So each of those opportunity were a decision. Do I want to do that? Do I jump on that opportunity? Giving training to business users was so different than coding, for instance. And it was scary at the beginning. But I knew I want to do more with people. I didn't know why and how. Back then, I just had this feeling of I want to get a little bit further from programming. I want to go more into people aspect. And therefore, I made the move, as a lot of people do, toward project management. So did that as well. And then came an opportunity in Germany. Do I want to move and out of the project management from project management into people management or not? I knew I like to do more with people, so I also made that a story. I'm going to stop here. The rest is quite history. And now I am heading the strategy, transformation, and portfolio department within Vodafone Germany. And I'm here now since 2015. So that's already around 6 years being in Vodafone Germany. So that's the red wire. I just told that story to say you that being scared at those moments is nothing for you, it's for all of us. And also to come now to my slides, saying all of us ask mainly these four questions when we are at the crossroads of our life. And we do intend to start from question 3, especially how at the beginning of our journey, we are more unsecure. We go more into capability aspect. So we ask, do I have what it takes? And that is fear. Why is fear so jumping in the first of the brain whenever we want to do something? The reason for that is that fear is reptilian and old. Fear has been in our nerve system a lot longer than creative response. And because of that, our risk manager in our mind, our survival is jumping and then going immediately to question three. Do I have what it takes? But that is not the good starting point. What I found throughout the years of being into making a lot of decision and trying to grow my way into the world of the corporate, I found out that having capability is one point, but the more important point is, does the opportunity or outweigh the risk? And how can you find out how magnitude of the opportunity is? You can find that out by answering question 1 and 2. So if you click one more time, Lizel, uh, yeah, you see the first two questions are about chosen self. Who do I want to be? Who do I choose to be? Who am I? First, start with myself, knowing myself, and then it goes to what is the choiceful journey to get who do I want to be. And the second two questions is about the fear and also leaving your comfort zone into the learning zone and then going into the growth zone. And the persistence aspect is can be a whole session just working and talking about persistence. That is what keeps you where you are. You all are persistent because you all are here. You know, it's not everybody may think, I cannot survive this very difficult situation. We can do a lot more than what we think. And this, I would say, every little achievement is a reason to celebrate. So whenever you want that one amazing book which nobody can find with that hardcover, and you go to the city and search for it till you find it, celebrate your persistence. It's not about becoming the CEO and remaining through everything. Every little things build up toward a bigger journey. So in the next two section, we will focus indeed in chosen self that comes now in the root of our tree. Lizel, if you can link again. Who do I want to be? Okay, here I'm going to talk about three aspects. Normally, when people want to know who am I, it's not an easy question. Who am I and who do I want to be? People normally do different things online, like an MBTI test. Am I introvert? Am I extrovert? Or Enneagram. Some of you may know it is going into more the roots of what am I born to be. Is a different, complete different test than MBTI. Are you a helper? Are you a seeker? Are you a player? You know, there are different categories there. Or Strength Finder, that's another test. There are different things that can give you who you are. A lot of people do stop after that. What I want to say is that that is just a drop in an ocean. People are so complex that by those categories, you cannot define who you are. That is just one box of it, which I would like to name as programmed self. There, it's also really important to have the values that you feel, these are my value, which I want to strive for into it. For me, for instance, my Enneagram, knowing the fact I do have a personal journal, as I told you, and I do have these things in a different pages. And whatever I do for around tests about myself, I add there. Because at the next decision point in my career or in my personal life, I can go back to my personal journey and check it. A lot of things you forget. And then you say, oh, wow, was me 6 months ago after going through this 6 months of new project, new challenges at work, I have quite changed. I would like to leave that gracefully behind and move on with new kind of things. So I try to add that. And what was for me an eye opener in those tests that I did in that one page of my personal journal was that in my Enneagram, I was type 2. So that's a helper. I liked it, didn't like it at the beginning, didn't match a lot with me, but I had it there. So that was one of the things, like next to my MBTI and everything, my Enneagram type was also there. Next topic, reflected self. So reflected self is feedbacks from others. What seeking constructive feedback doesn't need to be at work. It can also be at your colleagues, your friends, your family. I would actually uh, say that do that. Don't be just at work. It's you. You are the same. You're at work. You're at home. You may be a little bit different, but the complete feedback is a complete picture. So try to seek feedbacks at different clusters around you, not just your colleagues. And what I had there is just feedback, but very important, and you should see them all next to each other. So what I had there was one of my supervisor at university when I was graduating from the master study. He helped me with my graduation, and he also saw things in me that I didn't see myself. But I trusted him. So I knew if he says I can, so I can. I was scared, but I was trusting him. So I added those feedbacks because it was really helpful for me. It also brought me of who I am now. So I added that there. So my supervisor saw those and those things with me. But in my remembered self, so what I saw about myself was I wasn't sure if I can do that. So my remembered self compared to that was that self-confidence. Can I exceed or overrank my hero? I didn't think I can do that. And coming from Iran, being here, being different in the beginning, the language, everything, maybe that was also something which brought me a little bit backward to at university. And that caused me also one of the behavior which I was showing, which was self-confidence, lack of self-confidence. But my teacher saw things in me, and I said, yes, I can do it. And then I made the first step at Philips and then grow. And then it was really a life, just quite an important change, crossroads that brought me when who I am now. So you see there are three main topics. And these three, if Lisa, you click 2 times more, please, yeah, brings you into your chosen self. Who do I choose to be, or what is it what I want to leave behind? And so you have all those topics. I just gave you some example. As I promise you, I will keep it personal so that you can see that touch point of how I do it. Here, the point is, what do I want to strengthen, and what do I want to gracefully say goodbye to and leave behind? Doesn't mean they have been banned. They have served me well. Those are those behaviors that have served me so far. But do I need them going forward? Or do I say now goodbye and leave them behind? And that is this joyful exercise of what are the programs saying about me, how others say about me, and what is it what I say about myself, which will bring us into the symphony, and which will also give us that perspective of chosen self. Remember the previous slide? What is it what I want? Does it fit the bigger picture? Am I doing for myself before going into capability, and can I do it? So this is all for that finding out the first two part. The perspective is that you see that the whole thing is giving you one level higher. For instance, one example. As part of this exercise, I know that people are quite high in my chosen self. This is also one of my values. I want to enable greatness in people. So how do I can give that in an example? Let's go for the delegation. We all have to delegate a lot of tasks to others. And when you are looking at delegation, just for the sake of the success of a project and delegation, when you delegate and a project fails, you see that as a failure. But when you delegate, project fails, but the person that you delegated fully to makes a step in his or her career, then that's not a failure because you want to also enable others. You want to empower others. You want to delegate not just the task, but also the authority so that people can grow fully. And that is the perspective which I want to say with this whole thing brings you. If I know that people and people management is quite high for me, which I told my hero was a person who saw things in me which I didn't see about myself. So I want to do the same for others. And that is what brings my mission for me. And that is the same here with the task, an example around delegation. You see how perspective can bring a different glass into the same problem. Now listen, next one. So we will go now to the growth path. And so we are now in the tree, we are growing. You see, you need to know the purpose. Why do I want to leave my comfort zone? For the sake of what? That's actually, by the way, also the textbook of agile way of working. That's why it is really uncomfortable for a lot of people to give you the purpose, to give you the reason why for that. That comes all back to, yeah, you have to give people, I want you to leave your comfort zone. So I have to give you a purpose. For the sake of what do you want to leave your comfort zone and come a little bit more? And when you come out of your comfort zone, I'm not going to read through that. Uh, just as an example, what am I doing right now here is leaving my comfort zone. I was thinking quite a lot yesterday. Am I going to put myself vulnerable and share this or not? But I decided to do so. I could have done in my comfort zone, I have done a lot of presentation. So I have a foundation of giving presentation, of talking with a bigger round. So, not fearless, but brave. I have a foundation. I don't just do it. I have built my foundation in my comfort zone. Then I decide to talk about myself instead of data architecture, or instead of portfolio management or a strategy of the data, strategy of data and analytics, which I could have done easier because then I was still in my comfort zone. I decide to talk about myself, and I decide to talk about how I try to be the person I am, and what is that deeper thing that brought me in a fear zone. Can I do that? That's something new. I have done that to my team, in the coachings that I'm doing, but there were more one-to-one. I knew the person. It's a different aspect than bringing yourself online, being recorded, and that was a new area for me. The learning zone, which brought that whole exercise to me, was the fact that uh, I met new people. I tried to structure even more. And I think that for myself, it was quite like common sense. It became like, okay, some other people, I get the feedback, they feel really wow. So that's silly little things that they say always, if you disrupt yourself, those silly little things matter. Those smaller common sense things for me started to matter for others. And I was like, oh, okay, then let's see how it goes. And then it brought me to the growth zone, so that I'm standing here. It's a new area, I'm sharing it. And that's my example of how these things can go on. And uh, don't forget, we as women, we do care. And it is very important that throughout our journey, we keep caring. If you're in the fear zone, if you're stressed, if you're wherever, people don't care what you know unless they know you care. There is a Harvard Business Review book about connect and lead. And you see that more and more in the new way of working within agile setup as well. It's growing a lot. And we thanks to Mother Nature, as women, do have this caring aspect in us. And I don't mean it for the men in the round negatively or so, but it's just women. It's just Mother Nature. I don't know. Yeah, I hope I'm not insulting anybody else of the men here, but make use of that and show that you truly care about the result. You show that you're not just there for, being involved. As Julia told in her part, people see that if you are your mindset, your task, your skills, if you are doing your training online, that doesn't matter. If you do care and you want to learn and you want to go the extra mile, that's what matters a lot more than if you do some trainings online versus having a graduation from some university. At least for the good company and for the good leaders, that should be the way of hiring and not just the graduation. So for the next slide, I want to give a short thing. Okay, we are in our growth path. How do I know there is time for a new growth path? How do I know it's time to jump? Here, one thing which actually was also helping me a lot some months ago was that this S curve. So there is also a website, S curve finder, or S curve locator. If you go there, it's from Whitney Johnson. I really like her, really like her. She explains it quite well. And what is this S curve about? It says when you start your journey, you are at a launching point. So it's like starting with a puzzle, 1,000 pieces puzzle. You have it on your table. You don't know where the borders are. You don't know what the picture is. You're sitting in front of 1,000 pieces, and what now? So that's a very starting point. You know that the growth is going to come, but we are not there yet. That's the launching part. So around 15% of, according to Whitney Johnson, a good career, a good S-curving of your complete life would be 15% in that launching area. Then you have the sweet spot. It's in between. You know enough, but not too enough so that you're not bored. You're learning, you're in your steep, you're growing, and uh, you're not bored on your daily activities because every day is a new challenge, but it is also not like that you don't know it, that you're like, oh, I feel like I don't understand people are talking Chinese. So you're in that true growth path. That is the best engagement curve that you have. You are at your full power. You are enjoying your life and your job. That should be actually 70% of your life, your career, your whatever you do, even privately. S curve can be for everything you do. And then you end up at the mastery at the high end. That is the moment that you know enough, but you're not challenged that much. So uh, everything is being done just because you know it. People come to you, so you have a good feeling. It's all feeling well. You know everybody. You're comfortable. However, feels kind of boring. That should be another 15%. So if you can balance that you are in those areas for 15% and 70% in your engagement, that is the great achievement. That is when you do well at your life journey. But this is just one S curve. When you're at your mastery, it doesn't mean you have to jump to a new job. It can be that you just understand you are there and you say, I want to do something. Or you can go to Julia and ask for help for a new job. Or you can try to find a way to be re-engaged into your sweet spot. For instance, what I did, I was doing a lot of activities, heading the department, but agile was something a little bit more new for me. So I was at the end and said, what can I do? Oh, this agile sounds interesting, sounds like something, a new S curve. I want to jump to this new S curve. I want to get back to learning. I want to grow together into that. So That can be as long as you're consciously, constantly thinking of re-engaging yourself and bringing yourself back to in that engagement area. Then that's another new S-curve. And after all, when you do all those S-curves in your life, you have a huge S-curve for your whole life. That's a starting and till the end of your career. Let's say if you're just focusing for your career life, then that sum of those tiny S-curves defines you. And this jumping in between is what also, if you are aware of that, you do it differently. This S-curve locator, that helps, but I would say if you're happy, then you're in the middle spot, in the sweet spot. And if you are feeling bored or unsecured, you are in one of the high ends. Those two high ends is a little bit difficult to distinguish from each other. That is where the S-curve locator can help you with. So that is about how, if you want to grow, and if you decide to grow, do you want to grow further? How to decide that? This is also a tiny little piece which you can use. And if Lizel wants to go to the last slide, then I want to end my presentation with a provocation. This is, I just love it, and therefore I'm just going to read it loudly. Let no one keep you from your journey, no rabbi or priest, no mother who wants you to dig for treasures she misplaced, no father who won't let one life be enough, no lover who measures their worth by what you might give up, no voice that tells you in the night it can't be done. Let nothing dissuade you from seeing what you see or feeling the wind that makes you want to dance alone or go where no one has yet to go. Oh, this last four line is great. You are the only explorer. It's your journey. Your heart, the unreadable compass. Your soul, the shore of a promise. Too great to be ignored. You are the only explorer. I so love it. Your heart, the unreadable compass. Your soul, the shore of a promise. Too great to be ignored. It's from Mark Napo. Uh, I love it. It's amazing, and just wanted to end my presentation with this provocation. And if you have done now answering all those questions, now we will go back to the cloud, the word cloud, and see what you have seen, what stands between you and your dream. And throughout the presentation, I said things that I stand between me and my dream. And that is then the bridge toward the Wonder Me. So I will be there, I can answer a question, but before that, let's first see